Good morning there, YouTubers. It's Trifecta Terminus. You can call me Terminus for short. Today we're going to take a look at Phoenix Point Year 1 Edition. Just came out on Steam. Amazingly, there was already a million different first dives into this game, but we're going to do it ourselves, because we're cooler and better looking than the rest of them. So basically in this game, it's the end of the world. And in the end of the world, there's been this proto-molecule that came from the permafrost, and the proto-molecules making humans and different animals mutate and turn into mindless, well, they're not totally mindless because they work together, but basically crab-like monsters who come out of the sea and try to kill all humans. The world is changing, and we're fighting against it. We're part of a elite group of, like men in black, only with armor, and not men in black. So this game was developed by the original makers of XCOM, one of the XCOMs, XCOM 1, XCOM 2, who knows. But it does a lot of things that XCOM did really well. And some of the things that XCOM does poorly, it does really well. And then it's got some places where it's not as fleshed out or as awesome as XCOM was. So one of the places this game really shines is it's got a pretty great story, cool storyline. It's not like every other game out there, or even most of the games out there. And in this game, you're going to be fighting both humans, because it's the apocalypse, right? Bandits, bad guys, as well as the real threat, which are the mutated husks of former humans. And it's got great cinematic cutscenes. The scenes where you're targeting a bad guy and putting some rounds, some lead on target. It's really great. They're really good cinematic scenes. One of the places where I think it outshines XCOM is with hit ratios. In XCOM, you'd have like a 90% probability of hitting, and you're like 3 feet away from a bad guy, and you line up the shot, pull the trigger, and nothing. You miss him completely. And it's like a 12-year-old, wouldn't be able to miss that shot as he was falling. You know what I mean? So that's one of the things that I think this game really does well, is what looks like would definitely be a hit on target. If you're aiming right at somebody, you hit them. And there's also, as you're shooting, there's drift, and if there's cover or concealment around them, you'll be hitting in and around that cover and concealment. And sometimes 3 out of the 4 rounds that you shoot will hit that wall or barricade that's beside them, and it just lends to like real believability. So that's one of the things I think it does even better than XCOM does. And some of the places where I think that it kind of falls at the wayside is the character specialization. There's very little specialization. I think there's like 7 levels, and halfway through you can specialize in another character, so you'll get 14 total character skill attributes. And then you can also level up your character's strength and awareness and other types of skills, which is cool. But I feel like they're not RPG. They're not creating like a game where you're able to really get into character customization. All right, so let's just get on in there, talk about some of the game a little bit more, and then we'll play some as well. So the first thing to consider is there are 3 main factions other than your faction. So, and I've listed these in the most Mad Maxy Apocalypse Now to the most Darwinistic, not so apocalypsy. So your first group is the Uruk, and they're religious zealots, and they're super mad, like beyond, like Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. They have shotguns, and dudes carry melee weapons. And next you got the Jerichos, and they're like if Under the Dome met The Walking Dead. They're authoritarian. They carry rifles just like everybody else, or just like you do. But basically they're an authoritarian stronghold. And finally, you've got the New Athenians, and the New Athenians are laser rifle wielders who nobody's in charge. They're kind of a collective hive where they all kind of get together and talk about their feelings, but somehow talking about their feelings and having no one in charge has really worked for them because they've got freaking laser rifles and shit. So in Phoenix Point, you're going to be traversing the globe, going to points of interest. Some of those points of interest are going to have bases that are already on them with part of the three factions that we've talked about before. Others are going to be scavenging missions where you're going to be finding crates and bringing all that stuff back to your base. And some of them are just straight up kill the bad guys games. Some have bandits and some have mutation or mutated people. So you also have a pretty cool Lorepedia with a bunch of lore in here, talking about your vehicles, weapons, guides, basically. But in lore, it alludes to a lot of individuals that you may have not met yet, which is kind of a bummer because it kind of points out kind of where the game is going in the future, where you'll run into these individuals at some point. And finally, you've got some base building aspects as well. So with base building, you've got multiple rooms from medical, living quarters, research, fabrication, vehicle bay, and storage. And each of these rooms gives you different positive attributes. So with fabrication, if you've got multiple fabrication sites, like 2 or more, to fabricate a magazine with ammunition in it is instantaneous. Ammunition is one of those things that whatever you bring with you is what you have. So you don't have an unlimited store of ammunition. Your guy just shoots until the end of time, which is cool. It kind of lends like realism to it, right? If you run out of ammunition, you're basically back into the pound it, freaking throw stones, use harsh language, which is pretty cool. All right, so without further ado, we're going to get into one of those scavenging missions. This mission actually is pretty cool because you're actually trying to get a vehicle that you have found on the ground. So there are vehicles in this game that you can use as cover as well as to just basically smoke the bad guys.
Receiving loud and clear.
So yeah, without further ado, here you go. Here's that mission. And America, don't forget to subscribe and tell your friends to subscribe and like and share and tell your friends to share so that everybody knows.
I can make a difference. Using. I'm on my way. Got a visual.
What's our move? Moving.
Let's do this. Heading out. Gotcha. Heading out.
I'm here. Let's make this happen. On my way.
Heading out. Taking aim.
I'm ready. Target down.
Ready to fire.
Here. Let's go. Preparing to fire. Enemy killed.
Heading out.
Ready for action.
I'm ready.
I can make a difference. Acquiring targets. Here I come. Let me see.
One less to worry about.
Going in. Acquiring targets. You're gone, buddy.
Let's do this!
Moving now.
Repositioning, prioritizing speed.
They can't stop me.
Channel open. Heading out.
Alright, so in an attempt to not be another hour-long video, just want to say thanks for tuning in and taking a look at my opinions and thoughts on Phoenix Point Year 1 Edition. Pretty cool game. I think you should go out there and save the world. Do something amazing. And don't forget to be awesome. Subscribe and like and share with your friends. And thanks again for coming out. Have a good night.